Hey everybody, this is Mike, and I'm with,
Charles Woods.
and Charles has a very special mini lecture via Skype today for us. Can you introduce what's the title? You're always blowing people's minds. You say this, I'm not saying it.
Yeah, I know when we discussed this, you said, no, I'm not going there. And I said, um, it's not my feeling. It's just the reality. And it's Cicely Tyson Whoopi Goldberg. Too black and in quotation marks, too ugly for Hollywood.
I understand you were involved in those sit-in demonstrations and all of that down there. Yes, fantastic. You mean you sit on a stool, the cat comes along and knocks you off, and you just get back up on it? Well, that's gas. I hear they have special classes where they teach you how to take abuse. Why don't you teach me some of that scam? You dirty black bitch. Oh, Adam, no!
You just saw art imitating life. Cicely Tyson being attacked for being black. And it goes further than that. Her career did not achieve the stardom someone of her caliber should have achieved because she was too black and too ugly in the context of white supremacy.
Interesting. Why important to show this clip?
I wanted to show it because I want people to really know what Cicely Tyson had to go through because of her complexion, her dark complexion, and the fact that she did not have, quote, the looks according to the Eurocentric standard of beauty. She did not have looks. She was considered ugly. She wasn't considered the right look for Hollywood. And Cicely would not change. She stood proud, and she wouldn't make it in Hollywood as a star, but she became a superstar on the small screen.
You won't know how come I lived so long.
A very good life.
Ain't got no husband, ain't got no boyfriend, and you holed up in this bed like the Queen of Sheba.
The thing that got her in trouble with her hairstyle was when she was selected to play on a show called East Side, West Side, produced by David Susskind and George C. Scott, who was the star. We're talking around 63, 64. It only lasted one season because it was a powerful show. And it was hard-hitting, and that was the intent. Anyone knows David Susskind, that's what he's about. Hard-hitting, truthful dramas. When Cicely was selected to play the part of a secretary to George C. Scott's character, we're not just talking about white folk who rejected her image. Sadly, what was more hurtful is the fact that black people, black women in particular, resented her look.
My mom gives you credit, a lot of people, because you wore a short natural.
The natural.
And
yeah.
that's when it really started catching on
yes,
with others about that.
Yes, and the kind of mail that I got from the public, mostly black, at how I was disgracing. I was in a position to elevate the black woman and how I was disgracing her by wearing my hair in its natural state. I got bags and bags of mail.
This was the first time you had a black woman, a black person, period, to appear in a major show in a recurring role where she wasn't someone's servant or someone who was subservient to a white person.
It seems ironic that you would be receiving negative mail for not portraying a black woman in a positive light when you've spent your whole career.
Yes, but
Spent your whole career
but I
thinking of
understood it.
that.
I understood it because we were made to feel ashamed of our hair in its natural, the nappy hair, okay? And it was not attractive. And for me to revert to that at this, in this age was ludicrous to them, okay? So,
Totally.
but we finally came into our own.
And upon research, you find that she was not the first choice for the role.
Okay.
The first choice was someone, if she had accepted the part, it would have fit in with the politics of the time. And that's Diana Sands was the first actress who was selected to play that part. But Diana Sands, after she did the pilot, she requested a higher salary, which the producers rejected, and then that opened the door for Cicely. This is at the root of the colorism we're still seeing in motion pictures today. The other thing is, when I say too ugly, I'm not saying it, but it's the context of when you compare the actresses who were selected to play romantic roles, the people who get the actresses who get that part for the most part are your light complected actresses. And if you look at, you make a comparison, skin tone makes a big difference in the success of Hollywood actresses, particularly. The black man, skin tone is not so much of a barrier, but for the black woman, it's horrendous.
Hair looks terrible.
Don't lecture me.
Cicely faced this kind of problems during her career. And the person who would be subjected to this kind of abuse was another actress who became a bigger star than Cicely, but she was marginalized because of her looks.
That being
Whoopi Goldberg.
Sure got talent. She can sing. She got spunk. She can talk to anybody. She can stand up and be noticed. But what you got? You're ugly, you're skinny, you're shaped funny, and you're too scared to open your mouth to people. All you fit to do is be Suge's maid.
Cicely, no! I promise you. Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble.
Who you think you is? You can't cuss nobody. Look at you. You're black, you're poor, you're ugly, you're a woman, you're nothing at all.
She impresses with Color Purple. Now something opens up. You know, you're looking for projects. You're looking for vehicles to expand your talents.
Well, movies are based now on money, okay? Now, they know that somewhere I'm going to make a lot of money for the studios. They're just not sure how.
Whoopi really gets hit hard by the politics of white supremacy.
I don't think she's a romantic lead.
Stephen Schiff is the film critic for Vanity Fair magazine.
Even though she can wear a blonde wig, she can't play a blonde. Even though she can act the way a beautiful woman might act and walk the way a beautiful woman might walk, she can't really play a beautiful woman.
Ready for rehearsal, Mike. Yeah, a little quiet, please. Tom Holland directed Whoopi Goldberg in Fatal Beauty, but originally another actress was supposed to be the leading lady.
That script was originally written for Cher.
You know what they told her? It wouldn't work with you. In other words, they were telling her, you're too ugly. We need someone like a Tina Turner, someone who it is believable that the man in the film, who was eventually played by Sam Elliott, who it would be believable that he could fall in love with this woman. And they told her it wouldn't be believable with you, Whoopi, playing that part.
My biggest problem is what people do with the movies after I'm done. When I leave, when my last day is, what are those guys going and do? Do they say, oh, we got Whoopi Goldberg, and God, she was funny here and here and here, so let's cut out this emotional stuff and put these jokes in?
It's a very unusual talent. It isn't a talent that easily fits into a category. I mean, it isn't quite character actress, it isn't quite comedian, it isn't quite leading lady. Because I had Whoopi Goldberg, you know, I started to find as much humor as I could to give her the chance to have that natural humor that she has, to let that come out.
It wasn't a hit, but she continued to work, right, Charles?
Yes, she continued to work, but the thing she realized, you know, she may not have said it out loud. She did at one time mention the fact that, hey, I'm a woman. In my life, I have love relationships. But in Hollywood, you know, if you don't look a certain way, you don't get the roles. You know, you don't get that kind of a role. So what they did with Whoopi is they made her a female Eddie Murphy. And her roles, for the most part, being that this was a barrier for her, she was marginalized and limited to playing basically magic Negro types and comedic parts. They would really mock her look for the purposes of humor. And that's how Whoopi became a big star. And she did make a lot of money for the studios. The Sister Act series was very, very profitable for the studios.
So that brings us to today.
Today, as I say, and I've told you, the beat goes on, Mike. The only thing that changes in Hollywood is what? The date on the calendar. Okay? We're in, as Gus T. Renegade would say, we're dealing with a society in the context of white supremacy. It goes on. It's important that people know, if you don't want to agree with me, I'll just say it from my perspective. The motion picture industry is the most powerful apparatus that has been weaponized to promote and maintain white supremacy, the ideology of white supremacy. And so we take someone now like a Viola Davis, and she's not saying anything different.
Listen, this is my opinion. Jim Crow did a job on us. It did. Slavery happened, and then Jim Crow happened, 18th century, post, Reconstruction slavery. And what happened is, with the policies that were set forth, that kept us basically in bondage again, what happened is the signs went away, but what is left is perception.
It's not about just making that dollar and doing something that you're getting paid, but the people who look like you, they're being outplayed.
When you have, I don't know, say me coming in as someone's love interest, it doesn't compute. Because no one thinks I'm pretty. No one thinks a black woman who's darker than a paper bag is pretty. They don't think she's sexual. They find her more mannish. They associate her probably more with a man, more earthy, more soulful, more sassy. I see you more with an apron than I do see you naked rolling around in bed with someone. Because that is the American mindset. And what it's done is it's seeped into art.
They're being subjected to racism that is constantly being reinforced in a negative way, where the imagery you're projecting is what we call reductive. There's diminution to it. There's nothing of substance to it. And the only way we can change that, it's not going to be by thinking that Hollywood is going to do this for us. We have to be in a position of power to make our own product. We have to control our own aesthetic.
When you look at any studio that's in Hollywood, if you look at all of the scripts that they're developing, and they could be developing 20, 30, 40, 200 scripts, 98% of them are predominantly Caucasian. Now, if you told them that, they wouldn't be aware of it. Yep. It's just built into our mindset.
The people in power are not going to change their game. Because if they change their game, they wouldn't be in power. So if we want to see ourselves as a beautiful people, we have to be in positions of power to message things.
Past willing, this will go quickly and I can get this ridiculous thing off my head.
It looks nice. Just whip it back and forth there.
What?
One of the things that was beautiful about a Black Panther is because of the blacks behind the camera, the production, Ryan Coogler, even the wardrobe, but the messaging, it was a celebration of blackness. The women in that film were black, but they weren't made to look ugly. They were made to look beautiful because they are beautiful. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And if we want our beauty to be promoted, then we have to be in the position of being the beholders of the messaging.
You know, you remind me of someone.
Oh, really?
Who? A queen.
Look, baby, all you got to do is give me my bread. You don't have to talk no trash.
No, really.
What kind of queen?
A queen from Dahomey.
Dahoo? What the hell is Dahomey?
Dahomey was a great nation in Africa.
Africa?
No, really. I've got a book with a picture of you. You look just like her. I'll give you the book.
Sure.
No. You two could be twins, except that she, wore her hair different.
How?
It was kind of like natural, you know.
Hi, this is Charles Woods, and you're watching Real Black.